I'm Loretta and this is Becky, and we've got two bulldogs, Peaches and Pickles.
They're the decision makers.
Yeah,
100%.
So that's our little family. Yeah, we both work for transport. Becky's our social media guru and I do more operational kind of stuff, so that keeps us very busy.
It's like yin and yang. It's like logical, emotional and creative.
Definitely.
We're pretty lucky where we are now. The location is amazing, but we just were always paying off someone else's house, and that's what sort of triggered us to want to move. And we just looked around, and we were sort of saying that at first we weren't too sure about coming out west because we didn't really know anybody, but as the west has grown and transport's come out this way now, shopping centres have come out this way now, and with the plans that are sort of in place for the government and everything, where Parramatta will become the new city hub and whatnot, especially for businesses, that sort of pushed us to look out this way, and yeah, we sort of stumbled across Reward. And
really, I guess our circumstances are quite unique. We, a few years back, saved up a pretty decent amount of money. We moved in with some friends on the Central Coast, and they let us live there so we could save a deposit, and we literally saved and saved and saved and
worked on their farm while we paid no rent, so
fed chickens and did all sorts of things to get there. And then when we went to the bank, we didn't quite have the full deposit that they were looking for, and then
we did, but they kept saying you need more, and then
they wanted
you'd save
more,
that, and then they'd want more, and then so it was a bit disheartening.
House prices going up, or?
Well, just like there was always
it felt like the goalposts kept moving.
Yeah.
Becky and I, our credit history didn't look good on paper. We had decent income, we had the ability to show that we could pay things off, but we just didn't tick the bank's boxes. And they sort of said to us, look, you need to go away and you need to either save another $50,000, or you need to buy something that's like $300,000. That's a car park. And so we just kind of got really disheartened at that point, and then it just became like this unachievable thing. We just didn't think it was possible.
Yeah.
So that's what we thought.
We took our deposit and went to New York.
As
you do. Like, we just kind of gave up.
How it originally came about was I thought living in our own home would be not achievable.
Yeah.
So we were talking about taking our super and starting a self-managed super fund and using that to buy property so that we had something when we retired. We kind of thought maybe we need to do something so that we've got a bit of a retirement plan. And so I just started doing a bit of Googling. I organised to book in with a financial advisor to get some information, and doing a few little Google searches about...
It was more than a few.
Well, yeah, it was pretty quiet at work.
Every day. It was like every day. I would just get like a list of places to look at, and I'm like, oh God, can you just like put top 3?
And then obviously because of sponsored ads and things like that, these things started popping up, and I had this original ad pop up and they were a little bit dodgy. So it kind of put me on the back foot. And then this ad came up and I was like, this looks pretty good. And so naturally you sort of think, probably a little bit too good. So
I think that was all the way through the process as well. Like from the very beginning, from when we found it right through to this day, it was always like, but what's behind it? Like, what, you're waiting for it to be a catch or something to come through. And that, yeah.
So I did an online inquiry, and then I'm very impatient, and I didn't hear back within 3 minutes, so I called. And I got Peter,
God love him, because
God
he's put up with us so much.
And he said, why don't you come out and have a chat and see that we're real? And I was like, yes, awesome. So I got some information, and then I literally, you asked Peter, we walked into this house, and I had a plastic folder just full of stuff. We had questions, I had everything. And he's like, ooh, should I be scared? I said, no, just telling you that I'm gonna ask a lot of questions. And he was like, perfect, questions are good. And then we literally sat over at that table, and I just was like, but why? Why? How are you doing this?
But he was good. He explained more than I thought he would. There was nothing to hide. And so when he started explaining the company and how it came about and all that sort of stuff, I think for me, I love anything Australian made, Australian grown, all that sort of stuff. And when he started to explain about it being a family that sort of went into business, and I don't know, that really won me over in a lot of ways. And
we literally went, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Didn't we? Yeah, let's do it.
And like most things, I just, okay.
So I felt that...
You work out how, I'll just do.
You're coming out and you're seeing a tangible home, and there's signs everywhere out this way. And I rang my sister, who's pretty clued on. She said, oh yeah, because my sister lives in Riverston. I've seen their signs around for years. I was like, okay, this is legit.
That's a good sign, yeah.
This is legit. We own some dirt.
We're landowners.
we own some dirt.
Yeah.
So that's, us and the bank. So we settled back in the middle of July. Buying a house is a pretty crazy experience. When you get sent, just read through this contract, you're like, that's about 300 pages worth of stuff with words that shouldn't really go together in a sentence because I don't understand them. But you have your solicitor who breaks everything down and says, well, this is what you need to know. These are the important bits.
That was helpful.
And then I sat there one night, and we had the highlighter and the pencil, and we had some questions. And anytime I was like, okay, I'm just going to text Peter, and he'd get back to us, bless him. But we went through all that legal stuff, and we got our little deposit, and here we are, just waiting on council, and then
we started to build.
Reward's going to build us our first ever home, and that's exciting. For me, coming out here and having that sit down with Peter was probably the single...
that was
the pivotal point for us to realise that this was legitimate. It wasn't real. And then what's the catch? Where are they going to turn around and go,
you're excluded from this.
Well, you can't do this, and these are your restrictions, and
or you can do it, but it's going to cost you more, or it's going to be this, or it's, we sort of have that'll work for you, but we've got to add this onto it. We were always waiting for that moment. And I think what got us through the initial part to actually contact was just our own curiosity. Yeah. So if anything, my advice would be run with your curiosity, because it paid off in the end. And what's the harm in asking questions and going and meeting with someone? Because in the end, it's bought us our first home, and that's exciting. We wouldn't have got that if we hadn't pushed through that. It's our own doubt, really. It's not that the company's anything, it's just our own doubt and our worry. But
I understand in this day and age that there's so much rubbish out there on the internet, Facebook. Any Joe Blow can put together an ad, and it's hard to sift through what's real and what's not. So then when you come out and there's a real person and there's a tangible house that the company's built, and it's a beautiful home, and then these are our standard inclusions. This is what you're going to get for your money. And it was very straightforward. It was very easily outlined that this is step 1, 2, 3. This is what you need, and then this is what's going to happen. And then
It's
you kind of think, okay, right, yeah, this is legit, this is real. And I was very aware of what our personal circumstances were. I knew what we were capable of doing. I knew where we'd not succeeded in the past, and it was good that the program has the facility of having the lawyer and who knows what's going on with the program. Having, bless her soul, Jean. Jean is just amazing. And she's Jean from Access. I call her the money lady. We had this thing where wherever she had good news for us, it would come through on a Friday.
Yeah.
And she would ring, she'd say, oh, hi Loretta, I've got some more good news for a Friday for you. And she'd be, very easy to talk to, and she'd answer all my questions because I had a bajillion of them. So everything was nice and easy. I didn't have to go and source my own lender. I didn't have to go and source my own solicitor who had no idea about what the program was. It's a really neat little box, and for someone who has never bought before and doesn't know what they're doing, the process was simple. It was just, tell me what we need to do. What do we need to have for you? When do we need to pay our $5,000? When do we need to sign this by? What do we need to do? Excellent. Peter writes back and says this, Jean says this, Andrew says this, Troy says come out and pick the colours, and it was just simple. And once you get over that initial, oh, it's too good to be true, do your research, put everything in place. Okay, tangible company, real houses built, real people, family company. It's real.
I think too,
and it can be done.
Yeah, I think too, having like the package of everybody working on it together, not only was it helpful, but everybody was transparent.
Oh yeah.
And that was massive for me. That's probably what won me over the most, was that if we asked a question, if they didn't know the answer, they would say, I have no idea, but let me find out and I'll get back to you. And to me, that just is 10 more points than going, oh, here's some answer I've made up off the top of my head, because then when they've got to come back and say, oh no, I was wrong, like that's when you start to lose trust in people.
Yeah.
So I found that, through the money process, through the contract process, through what's included, even through the setup with Troy and doing the fun part, it was just all, if you asked a question, they answered it. They had no problems with giving you an answer, and a truthful answer, and quite a transparent answer on anything we asked. And yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I'm a very big researcher, and I didn't mention this before, but I had an ad pop up for, and so you can use this, I won't mention the builder's name, but I had an ad pop up for another building company, and they had a similar program. The amount required that you needed to contribute up front was a little bit more. Then when I looked into it, you didn't get your fences, you didn't get your driveway, you didn't get your grass, you didn't get a letterbox, you didn't get your blinds. And then when I said to him, oh, there's no exhaust fan in the bathroom. And he said, oh no, if you want one of those, it's an extra $395. And I was like, for a fan in the bathroom? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, they were all extras. So when I sat down and did the math, the price up front was quite good. But then when you added in all the things that you would need, it just shot through the roof. And I was like, yeah, no. So then when we sat down with Peter and we went through the standard list of inclusions, and you get your fences, and you get your grass, and you get your driveway, and you get blinds and fly screens. Oh my gosh, you're living in Australia, you need fly screens. And all that's going to be done. So when our house is built and our removalist truck pulls up out the front, we're walking in knowing that other than our personal touches, we don't have to be reaching in our pocket for anything else. And for me, that was a really good decision-making I can't even think of the words, but I was like, that's bloody good. To get all that stuff, like that's really good, because other builders just don't do that. Like I have a friend who, she's just recently moved into their first home buyers, and you know, they haven't got grass or fences, and they've got to do all that, and we don't have to worry.
Got sheets
so
on
our
the
dogs
windows.
won't run away because they'll have their own little backyard all fenced in. So for us as a selling point for this program, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember that conversation too, because Pete laughed when you said, "Do we get an exhaust fan?" And he's like,
He did. He was like,
"Why would you not?"
What?
And then he just started laughing, and we told him, and he's like, "No, you get an exhaust fan."
yeah.
Yeah.
And a pretty sexy oven.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about the
That was a
900
pretty good
mil
selling point.
Smeg gas cooktop and oven. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited about a 1800 mil freestanding bath. That's pretty sexy. Pretty happy about
I
that.
think I've seen a photo of you in the bathroom.
That was me. I had to make sure. I feel I got long legs. All the important decisions are in there. Yeah. Yeah. The social media page, it's okay. Yeah, do it.
100%.
Follow through. Ask the questions. Like, don't be scared. Like, that would be my advice. Don't be scared. Because, like I said before, at the end of the day, you know, what's the harm in asking the question? What's the harm in going and meeting with someone? It's going to possibly get you in your own home. So, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we live in a day and age where we're paying rent, we're paying dead money, you know, we're living at home with our parents until we're 30 so that we can save deposits, and housing prices keep going up, and you know, you guys have this in some of your marketing material. It just keeps getting harder and harder. And for us, if it wasn't for this program, we wouldn't be doing this. It's making what seemed like the unachievable, it's turned it into a dream come true for us. And
I wish we had stumbled across it sooner.
Yeah, if we'd have done it sooner. But
I mean, if we had done it sooner, we would have had the deposit that we went overseas with. And you know what, truthfully, if we had done it sooner, both our fathers would have seen us go into our own home, you know, and that would have been an amazing feeling.
But there must be so many people out there like us who are just in that hamster wheel of paying rent, trying to save, living a life.
And you knuckle down in that,
And
you know,
you do.
like you're so caught up in it.
So it's a grind. So why not be smart and use a program like this to your advantage? And it might not be the standard run-of-the-mill course that most people take, but who cares how you get there? It's a little bit different, so it's unique. Who cares? The end result is the same. And how amazing that a company exists to allow that to even happen in the first place.
Yeah. And I think own it too.
Yeah,
like,
own it.
So many people hide that they struggled. And I think, like, why hide that you struggled? 90% of the people in Sydney are struggling to buy their house. You know, and I know, because I'm very close to the people I work with, and they were like, wait, how are you doing this? And like, I didn't hesitate. I was like, well, there's this company and it does this, and you know, and it's fun because they've been on this journey with me, because they've been waiting for the hammer to drop as well. And then when we had this Zoom call one day, because we're working from home, and they were like, so what's happening with the house? And literally every time we have our work meeting, that starts with that. Where's the house at? Like, right, so this happened, and then when I signed, I told them, and they were all cheering. And then, yeah, the other day, they were like, where's the house at? I'm like, well, we're landowners now. And so, yeah, it's been really fun. But yeah, owning it and just, like, it sounds cheesy, but just spreading that word and it becoming normal. You know, it's not taboo then, and then it becomes this, oh, you know, there's this other option out there. So, yeah, that would be my advice when it comes to this sort of stuff.
I will admit, I did ring my mum. We left here that evening after speaking to Peter, and I rang Mum, and I was like, Mum, what do you think about this? And my mum's a very much a straight shooter. She would tell you how it is. No grey with Mum, it's black, it's white. And this, my mum said to me, she said, well, I'll tell you how I got my first house. I was 17. I lied on the bank's documents and said I was 18, and the bank then was the church. The church gave me a loan for $5,000 and that's how I got my first house. So I lied. She said, you're not lying, it all seems legit. Just bloody do it, Loretta. That's what she said.
What did she say? It was the worst case scenario, you would lose your deposit and you'd be where you are now.
Yeah.
Why not just trust them in what they're doing? And we were like, you know what? God, we've wasted money on worse things. And man, with much worse things. But yeah, you know, we just jumped and trusted, and it was good. We trusted the right people.
Yeah, she said it's a very, very small risk to take if it doesn't work out. And in the end, there was no risk. Here we are.